Misfit Nation.
Because that was pretty interesting. You were telling by the way, everybody, this is Kevin.
Hey guys.
Good friend of mine. We grew up together pretty much. And he's here to fill in for Jay Blaze.
Yeah, fuck Jay Blaze.
While he sits at his pool and enjoys himself.
Eating cinnamon buns from Rachel Sweet's Code.
You should have brought me his cinnamon buns.
I love cinnamon buns. So
you should have brought him for Kevin.
Should have got him for Kevin.
Yeah.
So
next time. Yeah.
But
Jay Blaze is gonna have another pool day soon.
Yeah.
So, Chaz, you hear Chaz? Chaz has fallen.
Chop.
Oh, his
Chop?
fallen?
I'm not.
Chaz
I
got
refuse to
chopped.
call it chop.
No, Chaz got chopped.
Chaz got chopped.
Yeah.
Finally?
Yes. I don't. Well, the press secretary said so.
Nice. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Guess
they
they
had
went in
an
there and
opportunity
cleaned it up.
To really prove something like positive, and they totally fucked it
We
up.
fucked it up.
They
It's
totally
like Casino.
fucked it up.
Yeah.
They totally fucked it up. They kind of proved that the masses cannot self-govern autonomously well. Without, like, you have to have some kind of established legal proceedings or, like, set something up. You know, they had their security forces or whatever. The Chads that work for Chaz securing their seized compound.
Chaz squared.
Chaz squared. Well, it's also this thing of like they've been telling us that we need to listen to the kids and the young people, and it's like this is also kind of proving that no, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, they're young people.
They're young. They're
You
idiots.
gotta fuck up and learn shit sometimes, you know?
Well, and also understand that like the things that we have in place. I'm not saying it's perfect, but we have this in place, like the police system, because of the fact of like we have what is it? How old is the policing here? Hundreds of years at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's broken. It's certainly broken.
I wouldn't
and
say
that's
broken.
what the protesting is about. No, it's definitely broken, man. Like police unions have corrupted pretty much every single
agree with
police
you.
department
Yeah.
that's out there. Qualified immunity needs to end. I mean, like
Why?
because I could be a doctor, right? And I can fuck up. And if I kill somebody or somebody is like maimed because I messed up in my surgery and they die or something happens to them, their family or whoever can turn around and sue that doctor for malpractice. Right? So it means that doctors are forced to carry insurance to protect themselves from like frivolous lawsuits.
Okay.
But with cops, this is my point, is that we could end qualified immunity, and instead of them paying their fucking union dues, they're putting money into an insurance policy that if they make it through and they make it to retirement and they don't use excessive force, you know, they don't get convicted of some kind of abuse, then all of that money that they're putting down it's essentially like bond payments that they get back, and it incentivizes them to be good and not abuse people. And also knowing that you could get sued if you fuck up, you're gonna think twice before you resort to extreme measures.
All right. The only problem with your analogy
Okay.
is somebody laying on an operating table isn't fighting you back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
But the cancer could be fighting you back, and you have to remove it from the body.
Yeah, but you could die from cancer without without him doing it. You could. There are problems with like surgeries.
Chris,
hold on.
okay,
What I'm
all right.
saying is there's more risk in a police taking down somebody than a surgical procedure.
Yeah, but a cop is never going to get convicted if there was any question of a threat to his life. So if somebody's actually attacking him, he or she can shoot them. And it's no problem as long as they can show that, like, okay, this person was actually trying to kill me, or they could have caused harm to others. Then police are justified to kill somebody.
Yeah, so are we,
like
though.
legally. But yeah, exactly. So are we. And the difference is that they're legally protected from having anybody actually do anything to them in a civil case about it. So you can't sue a cop because they turned around and shot Tamir Rice, right? Like, how is that person trying to hurt a cop? It was just somebody that was a bad cop that happened to get their way through the police academy.
Well,
get
Tamir
a
Rice
badge
was
and a gun.
pointing a fake gun at people. It wasn't
Okay.
about.
But it didn't even look like a real gun.
In what way?
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that it was what do you call it? It had the
red tip. Or the
no, it
orange
had that
tip.
removed.
I don't,
It didn't have that on it.
I don't think it did.
That's maybe
But-
we're getting conflicting
Yeah.
information, but I heard that the tip wasn't on it.
But I mean, I think that the point is that there's a lot of instances where they're too quick to use lethal force. Like even, for instance, one that's a contentious form of debate right now is the dude that was at the fast food,
Very sharp, Brooks.
the drive-through. Yeah. And so
How-
they tried to
I'm
whoop his
curi-
ass. They tried to whoop his ass, and they couldn't. And he fucking threw them both down. Got the taser, ran. They were chasing him. He turned around and shot the taser at them, which police claim is non-lethal, right?
No,
Well, I mean, now they're
they
saying
claim it's
that
less lethal. I
it's
mean,
less-
obviously
yeah,
less lethal than a
less
gun.
lethal options. But originally, it's like, you know, originally they had it as a non-lethal option, right? They actually would say this. I mean, years ago, but then people died and police
Yeah,
departments
but
got sued.
you're not dying from the tase. You're dying mostly from like falling and hitting your head, or if you have like a
No, if you
pre-existing
have a heart issue,
condition.
that's
yeah.
usually yeah.
But a cop doesn't
Yeah.
know most
so they
of the
call
time.
It, they call it less lethal. But the
Yeah.
point is that the tasers that police have issued have cartridges, and they're single shot, and they all know this. You have to load another cartridge, and so all he did was he took the taser, he turned around, and he shot it. That was it. That was the cartridge. So he didn't have another shot in the taser,
Mhm.
and they both knew it, and they just shot him in the back anyways, or one of the officers.
I
shot
think
him
the
in the back.
idea though is that if you're willing to do all of that to a police
He was
officer,
drunk.
and you're
Drunk people do stupid things.
doesn't
Chris.
matter. Yeah, but that's
So you take it into account. He didn't want
But
to
you're not
hurt them.
supposed to get drunk, really. That's his.
And be
That's
in
his
public.
I don't
personal
know.
decision.
I
that-
don't know.
Being
They
drunk in
could have. They
public.
could have just said, "Hey, listen. You can sleep it off. You need to park here.
They did that.
No. You can park here and give us your keys." They didn't give him the chance to sleep it off.
I
They
think
were
this-
like, "We're gonna arrest you." If somebody's that combative, right?
You got.
Like,
He got.
You
caught,
can give
he
them
got
a
s-
written arrest.
He was passed out
Yeah.
in a drive-through line.
Yeah, I know.
Like that is so ridiculous
Oh,
that
it's
if
very
they
drunk. It's very drunk. But all I'm saying is if you can see that it's gonna get out of hand like that, just take their keys and get the car towed or whatever. You could give them a written arrest, and because it's like calming a drunk, irrational person down. So because one of the things that police are supposed to do is de-escalate. So it's not like the guy is gonna be able to drive. You towed his car.
have you seen the video?
Yeah,
The whole video.
yeah.
Because I don't see at what point did those cops escalate anything. They were being overly nice to the guy.
Yeah, I know, and he was being very nice to them too.
And then he rabbit punched them out of nowhere,
When
he
like
was
as
getting
they're
arrested.
arresting him.
Yeah. No,
and then
I
he
mean,
spiked
that
one
was
on the top of his head and gave him a concussion.
But we're talking about somebody that was so drunk that they passed out in a drive-through
he
line.
made bad
But
personal decisions.
After waking up and then beating the shit out of some
Two
police
cops,
officers.
yeah.
Yeah, but that was on them for going at someone that's that drunk. Like in terms of, from a legal sense, they have like compos mentis,
But
right?
he was
But
talk-
you-
he
So
was
if you're not
calm.
in a sound state of mind,
But you're missing the idea of that they're also there to protect the rest of us.
of course.
Yeah.
But
so
they could protect the rest of us by just having a tow truck come, load his car up onto a flatbed,
You don't
and then
think
he's
he'd
got to
still
pay the
be
tow
outraged
fee.
the same way?
He's not. They're not trying to. The reason why is they're trying to handcuff him and bring him in. They don't have to handcuff him and bring him in. They can just give a written arrest.
yeah,
but
but
that's
that's,
it.
I guess that could
That's
be
it.
up
And then he
to
has to
what
and
they
then-
because he consented to the sobriety test. He took the test. He failed it.
'Cause
Like
honestly, there's some laws that say if you are drunk on the street, they put you in a holding cell until
Yeah.
you're sober up.
they caught
Yeah.
him behind the wheel while the car was, you know.
all I'm saying is,
like,
is
what
that
I'm
if
saying is
someone
that-
is that drunk, and they're not in a rational frame of mind, you're going to,
he was in a rational frame of mind.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. He
He
attacked
did-
them.
Yeah, that's not a rational frame of mind.
He had a conversation
not.
before attacking them.
He had a very polite conversation. But all of them
Exactly.
were being very polite to each other.
Exactly.
So he
so
was.
something he snapped. Something happened. He's that drunk. Like,
So that's irrational then.
yes, it's totally irrational. So when people have mental health issues or like a mental
No,
breakdown,
no, you're taking
or
it from
whatever,
mental health, from
From
drunk to mental health.
You don't know. Maybe he was bipolar.
I don't care what he was.
I don't know. But all
That's not my- I don't
I'm
care.
saying is that it's not a necessity to arrest somebody over a DUI, like physically arrest them. You can impound their car and you can send them a written arrest, and then they have to appear in court, or the police are going to come to their house and bring them anyways. You impound their car, you send them a written arrest warrant, and I guarantee you,
A cop
so
can
many
never leave a drunk person on the street.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see it. Even if
call
it's
a
like,
friend.
even if
You
it's
could
like,
say
hey,
you
I'm
gotta call
gonna
somebody
take
to
you
come
into the
pick you
drunk
up.
tank for the night. I'm not arresting you. It's just we're gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what.
No, but I mean, you'd still be arresting them because they broke the law and they drove drunk. But it's the idea is that they have a written arrest.
So-
You're not physically booking them, and when they sober up,
But at what
But
point
now-
do you put any personal responsibility on Ray Shard?
Now, what if
Like,
the Never Shard goes and now he's irrational and kills somebody on the street?
Or drives another person's car and
how's he going to drive another person's car unless he steals it?
He's irrational. He's
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah.
He has mental issues. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think those police did everything. Like, I think they shouldn't even be in jail right now. I think that's a fucking travesty. Free Officer Rolf. My nigga.
I don't know. Because I know that I thought it was Officer Rolf that had like 12 complaints against him for excessive use of force.
Then lock him up for those, not Ray Shard Brooks.
It could be the last straw.
I don't think that I really don't think that he needed to shoot the guy. I mean,
Well, and
he
what-
knew that it's a single shot taser. I don't know, man. I do think that there is an excessive use of force problem because
I don't think that's the example though. Like, meaning like
I think it's an example.
What I don't think it's even an example. I don't see what the cop like. My question was, at what point do you put any personal responsibility on Ray Shard?
Well, that he drank and got in a car and decided to drive, and then he resisted arrest, and I think that a lot of it, like 99% of it, was his fault. But someone in a sound frame of mind that recognizes that someone else isn't, I feel like, especially if you're sworn to carry out a duty, you have to realize you're dealing with somebody that is not right in the head right now, and you need to go about something a different way.
And what's that way?
A lot of times
Letting them go?
is well, it's not necessarily like letting them go. If you think that they're a danger to somebody else, then no, you don't let them go. But I don't think that he swung on them because he was enraged. I think he was scared. Like, that's why he ran. Like, it's like fight or flight.
Whatever his
It's an
reasoning for
evolutionary
doing
primitive
it is
response.
irrelevant to the police.
So if we had a full out shootout, it's still
No, if
still
he shot
reasonable?
out, then if he was in a shootout, then sure, like he can. I would not see anything wrong with police shooting him, but he wasn't in a shootout. He fired a single shot taser, and then he had no cartridge left, and they killed him by shooting him in the back.
Mm.
Like, you can't. I don't know how you can claim self-defense in that moment. If you
Because
had
he's
shot,
turning to shoot you as he's running away.
No,
like, where
they
the
shot-
bullet ends up is where it ends up. It's not like the cop can control, like, I'm going to shoot him in the chest. Like,
he was like
if you're-
20 feet away. A bullet travels so fast that
Yeah, but
there's
you're-
no time
again,
to turn. You know what I mean?
you're
He was-
you're missing the point
Okay.
of they're also trying to protect the community. They
course.
don't know if he's going to get in somebody else's car and drive because they know his car is not usable right now.
But he's trying to flee.
Were they
That's-
Yeah.
were they ever able to check him?
What if he got in somebody else's car that was in line?
Did
Like,
they check him in the
he
video?
did they check him? What do you mean?
Did they ever get the chance to like search him?
I don't remember.
I
I
mean,
don't
I'm
know
sure
what
they
I think they
did.
were in the middle of arresting him and he just bolted
If
off.
they had
So
found a
yeah.
gun,
What he
if they
had.
had found a gun on him,
No, they did.
would've-
They did frisk him like at the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that it's not like he was necessarily gonna go and yank somebody else out of a car and steal their car. He was trying to get away because he was scared because he didn't want to be arrested.
Okay.
So if somebody's not pursuing you, if you don't feel like somebody's trying to pin you and bring you in, if you're like, your brain's getting flooded by adrenaline.
But I don't
And
see how
you're
that's
just
how that's
reactive.
relevant to
But if
what
they're
the
gonna-
police
If they
did.
go to the chasing him now, if he already went to that length of stealing the taser, shooting it one shot, booming someone on their head, you don't know what else he could pick up and do while he's
Yeah.
running down the street. You don't know what he'll do.
Right,
Something
but
there's an object in front of him.
he got flooded with adrenaline when it got escalated to that point when they're like, okay, put your hands behind your back.
How is that escalating it though? That's
Because
part of the job.
moment that happens in your mind, you're like, oh shit, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
And
Should have thought of that before you jumped in the wheel and thought you could go get some
How is
aid.
that
Right.
the cops' fault though? Like that's what I
I'm
don't
not
get.
saying that it's the cops' fault. I'm saying that it's
But you're using this as an example of excessive force.
yeah.
This is
it
an
is.
example of
I think first I think it was excessive.
if
force.
you're scared, you could run away.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not, you can't.
you're
If
right.
You're arrested, you're
no, I'm
under
not
arrest.
saying that
no,
either,
it was
but-
excessive force, but what I'm saying is it was justified.
What I'm
You're saying it
saying
wasn't
is that
justified.
it never had to get to that point because
They should have never
and it wasn't
arrested
their
him.
fault that it did. That's all I'm
it,
saying.
it could have definitely been handled differently.
I don't see how different it could have been when they have to contain him because he's drunk.
I mean, there's
They're not
other
gonna let
ways
him
to
go.
contain somebody if they're so drunk that they can barely even get out of their car. Like I said, you let him sleep it off in
But why
his
is that an
car, and you just
excuse
take
to
the
him
keys.
being able to behave any way that he's drunk? Like when as you're drinking.
Chris, I think the point that you're missing is you're trying to make a justification for a rational behavior of someone that's not acting rationally at that
No.
time. And that's what a lot of people don't get about mental health issues is that like sometimes
is it mental health or was it that he was drunk?
I don't know. I don't think that that's a normal thing for somebody to just be very polite and I'm talking to you and then suddenly I snap.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
being very polite because you don't think you're going to get arrested. And then you notice you're going to get arrested. I got to book it. Shit.
Yeah, and crazy people kill people all the time.
Well, that's
like,
true.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what's that's what I'm saying. I don't see why that's relevant to what the police like. You're as a cop, you get called to something you know is gonna be you're gonna deal with an irrational person.
Mhm.
More than likely, you're ready for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like I don't see how just because the person is irrational, how that's an excuse for the cops not to be able to protect them and the community that they're
I mean,
there to protect.
If somebody's again, if somebody's so drunk that they're passed out in their car, you just tow their car with them in it. That's
And
it.
then what?
Well, if you have their keys, they're not going anywhere. You give them a written arrest, and it's a summons that they have to appear before a judge. And if they don't do it, I mean, you know where they live. They ran their plates.
So you got to
made
trust.
sure
You got to
that-
trust he's drunk and he's drunk enough
Drunk and responsible as
to
he's
stay
getting caught
in the
a-
car and sleep it off the whole time.
I don't know that he's gonna get out. I don't know.
We're gonna
I
also
don't-
have the windows down because if you leave him in the car with no keys,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the windows open,
Especially in Florida, yeah, he might get cooked.
you're gonna
Yeah.
die. So
I don't know. I just think there's better examples.
Oh, there's
Of-
definitely better examples. I'm just saying, I can't see any reason. When you keep asking me how could they have handled it better, they could have handled it better by not shooting him in the back. Like, I don't think that there's ever going to be any justification for that unless he had a gun
Mm-hmm.
and he was able to like continue returning fire. If that wasn't like the only shot, but they knew that that was it.
So all the way up until having a gun.
If
A
he
cop
had the
isn't
taser,
justified to shoot you.
No, even when he had the taser and he's running from them with the taser, they were still justified to shoot him because he still had a weapon and he still could have harmed others with it.
but
Okay.
once
But
he
the
charged,
moment that he turned around and shot at them, he no longer had a deadly weapon anymore. And at that point, they should not have then gone and shot him.
how long after he shot the taser did they shoot him?
Like a couple seconds.
I think it's
It was
a
an
split
instant.
second decision that
I
you're
think it was
expecting.
even.
You're expecting like almost an inhuman response.
No, I think it was like at least 2-3 seconds afterwards that he actually got shot. I mean, if you see in the video, like he turns around and he shoots with the taser, and then the cop raise, you know,
Mhm.
and shoots him. But you know, I don't. It could be that it was just in the heat of the moment. The cop wasn't thinking rationally either and just shot him. But like, I can't support somebody that shoots somebody else in the back and says that it
But
was.
you're making it as if it was on some like old Yeller shit. And he's like, turn around, nigger.
No,
And-
no,
it's
I
not
don't think it was
that.
that. But you
Mind
can't
you-
argue if somebody's running away from you.
Yeah.
and
As he's pointing a weapon at you, too.
well, he turned around, fired it, and then turned around again and started. So it's like if I'm running one way, I turn around and over my back, I shoot the taser at you, and then I turn back and keep running, and then you shoot me in the back.
I think
No.
I think after you I think after you already beat the fuck out of the two guys.
Mhm.
I agree they should have been more well trained in that sense where they could have two guys
Could have handled him. Yeah.
handled them, but they got their ass whipped.
Yeah.
That's why cops have secondary weapons and
Yeah.
weapons. Like that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.